and welcome to Cujo Sound. In this video, I'll be playing Counter-Strike, because there is just a new version of Counter-Strike, 10 years late, that just came out, called CS2. Let's see how it goes. I, as a Counter-Strike player, would like to see new things come into the game, but some of the changes they've added to CS2 is quite dramatic in terms of audio, so of course we will be discussing audio on this channel. Let's try and start a game here, and then let's see if the weapons sound any different. As you can tell here, the weapon is actually sounding the same, but the reverberation is quite different. My guess is that they're adding some sort of reverb filter on it so that they want it to sound much more realistic. But in my opinion, currently it sounds like it's a little fake because it sounds like it's a bad reverb plugin that they're using. Here are a couple of different weapons that are being played back, and you can definitely tell that the reverberation is quite different. My guess is also that they have mapped out the entire level quite strict in terms of volumes or boxes or anything like that, so that they are told specifically which reverb to use where, and not some automated procedural generative system. Because it seems that there is a slapback feedback here when close to this wall, but not when out here in the open. Which definitely tells us that there is a difference, but it doesn't seem to be very directional. So it's not coming from these walls, it's more like coming from the entire area that you're in. Also here, if we're playing on the CT side, you will notice that there's quite a heavy reverb here when you're in this closed space here on Dust 2. Notice here also that the zoom sound of the long-range weapon is different. The attenuation of 3D sounds such as gunshots or grenades or even voice dialogue coming from the other players seems to be dramatically different. It's not like that it's different so that it can be heard further away, it's just that the filter is different from regular Counter-Strike. And this smoke grenade here is dramatically different and also has a gameplay feature that you can shoot through it and see through it and so on. Of course, there are tons of graphical changes. It looks better, but it doesn't have a much different sound. The burning sound, though, is dramatically different when someone is being burned by your Molotov. The interesting thing here is about the reverberation and the gunshots is that if it's possible to, over a distance, just like it is with footsteps, to be able to tell that where is someone shooting from, which you couldn't before. So by listening to the reverberation of the gunshot, you should be able to tell where is this other player shooting, which is quite interesting for the gameplay. The footsteps are slightly louder, and it's actually bothering me a little bit because here on the CT side, when everybody starts running, the reverberation of the footsteps is sounding like it's almost phasing because there's too many footsteps at one time. And the reverb is way too strict, or in some other way over-processing everything that's going on. The impact sounds of when you're shooting others is also a little different. The headshot sound is no longer the same. You can still tell that you're hitting them in the body or in the head, but it's different, definitely. Also notice here that this gravel sound here of the footsteps, even my own, but also when other players are running by me, they're slightly louder than they used to be in the regular Counter-Strike. If we go into the audio menu, we will see here that there's no option to turn on or off reverberation or anything like that. So you cannot control how this reverb is being played out throughout the level. So my guess is that this is a game design feature that they want you to use, just like you're supposed to use the footsteps and hear where there are. Seemingly, as I'm running around this game, there seems to be no sounds of bullet flybys, which is a little weird because that's a big part of the gameplay in regular Counter-Strike. Because there you can tell you're being shot at without actually knowing that you're being shot at because you weren't hit. But so far this game is only in beta and only possible to play right now if you have enrolled for the beta program, which you do on Steam. But the game itself seems to be slightly unfinished. I guess what they want is just to make sure that it looks better, and there's a lot of gameplay features in terms of the new way the smoke behaves and so on. But all this new audio, it takes a little getting used to. Also, the new music that is playing when you start a game is quite off-putting and definitely something that I would be turning off right away.
This is what we have been working for.
Especially since this is a competitive game. Normally I wouldn't turn off music because I think it's part of the experience. But in this case, since this is a competitive game, it would just bother me. The intro music here when starting an actual fight, where there's a little panning over your team and so on, is also different. But the music here in the background, it's from a music production standpoint, the music here in the background where you're using a sample for the beats taken straight out of a sound library, that's a little cheeky, I think. The bomb here has the same sound when being set down, and the beep is the same, but the attenuation is quite different. In the original game, the attenuation of the beep would increase in distance as you would get closer to the actual explosion, so that you could only hear the beep far away if the bomb was close to exploding, whereas now you can hardly hear the beep if you're far away. Another thing is also that it seems to now have occlusion depending on which way you're pointing at it. So technically you can also now, when you're playing the game, clearly hear if it's on bomb site A or B by listening to the filter that is on the sound whenever you're facing it or not.
Terrorists win. What do they?
Interesting to see how they, in the long run, will perhaps tweak this reverberation. I think there's a lot of potential in it, but right now, in its current form, it's not really polished. That's a quick update on Counter-Strike versus CS2. Interesting. Let's see how it goes in the future. Thank you for watching this Cujo Sound video on Counter-Strike and CS2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to know more about game audio in general, why not subscribe to the channel? If you really want to know more, or if you want to support the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/Cujo Sound, where you for as little as $1 a month can help me sustain this channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in either one of my previous videos or in one of the future ones. Thank you.